Many people feel mentally exhausted, not because life is too difficult, but because the mind reacts to everything. A comment, an opinion, a small situation. Everything feels like it needs a response. Everything feels like it requires involvement. And without noticing, the mind enters everything. It responds, it explains, it engages, and this builds up, not all at once, but gradually, until it becomes exhaustion, because constant reaction is draining. The mind never rests, the body never fully relaxes, and there's a constant feeling of being mentally active, as if something is always happening, as if you always need to respond. But over time, something becomes clear. Not everything requires a reaction. The mind was trained to react. For a long time, quick reactions were necessary. Every signal could represent danger. Every stimulus required attention. But today, most of what surrounds you is not a real threat. It's just information, opinions, temporary situations. Yet the mind still reacts as if everything is urgent. And that's the problem, because automatic reaction happens fast. Before you notice, your mind has already responded. It has already taken a position. It has already started engaging. And when you realize it, you're already inside it, thinking, reacting, without choosing. And this creates a pattern. And once this pattern is established, the mind starts anticipating reaction. It doesn't wait. It doesn't question. It reacts, even when nothing significant is happening. And over time, this automatic behavior becomes your default state. The more you react, the more the mind expects it. It becomes automatic, a cycle. React to think to continue to react again. And this cycle is what sustains mental exhaustion, because every reaction consumes energy. Every response keeps the mind active. And when energy is constantly spent without intention, fatigue becomes inevitable. Not physical fatigue, but mental depletion, the kind that makes simple things feel heavy. And when you react to everything, there's no space left. No space to think clearly, no space to pause, no space to simply exist. And this shows up in everyday life. You open your phone and immediately react. A message appears, and your mind starts responding. Someone says something, and you engage internally. Everything happens quickly, without pause, without awareness. And this keeps the mind constantly active, constantly involved, constantly occupied. And this is where mental overload begins, not from complexity, but from accumulation. Small reactions, repeated constantly, until your attention is fragmented. Most reactions are small, almost invisible. A thought you follow, a comment you replay, a situation you keep revisiting. Individually, they don't seem significant, but together, they create constant activity, and your focus becomes unstable. And without awareness, this continues automatically. You don't notice when it starts. You only feel the result. Mental noise, restlessness, lack of clarity, and over time, this turns into fatigue. Not because of one big problem, but because of many small reactions that you keep feeding. But there is a simple shift that changes everything, creating space, a small space between what happens and how you respond. That space changes everything, because in that space, you regain control, not by forcing anything, but by deciding. You begin to choose what continues. There's a difference between reacting and responding. Reaction is immediate, response is intentional, and that difference changes everything and what stops. And that decision is what creates clarity, because in that moment, awareness appears. You start seeing what is happening before reacting, before engaging, before continuing. And this changes your relationship with your mind. You stop being carried by it and start observing it. And something practical becomes clear. Not everything needs to be solved immediately. Not everything needs a response. Not everything needs continuation. Some things can simply stop with you, without moving forward. And at first, this feels unfamiliar, because the mind wants to react. It wants to explain. It wants to engage. But over time, something shifts. Urgency decreases. The need to respond fades, and the mind begins to slow down. And when the mind slows down, clarity appears. You think better. You decide better. You respond better. And this changes how you live. You engage less. You get drained less. You carry less. And your energy returns to what actually matters. Because real control is not about managing everything. It's about managing your response. And when your response changes, your experience changes. And this is not indifference. It's not ignoring everything. It's emotional discipline. Because many people believe that not reacting is weakness, that silence is losing, that not responding means avoiding. But in reality, it's the opposite. Not everything deserves a response. Not every opinion deserves attention. Not every situation requires engagement. And when you understand this, something changes. You stop reacting automatically. The noise decreases, the mind becomes more organized, and life becomes lighter. And over time, you notice something interesting. Situations that used to affect you lose their impact, not because they disappeared, but because you stopped feeding them. And when something is not fed, it doesn't grow. It doesn't stay active. And this changes everything. Because what used to control your attention starts to fade without effort, without resistance, just by not engaging. Maybe you don't need to do more. And this is where a shift happens. You stop trying to manage everything and start filtering. You stop reacting to everything and start selecting. And that selection is what protects your mental state. Maybe you just need to react less. Maybe you don't need to control everything. Maybe you just need to stop entering everything, because not everything deserves your reaction. And maybe what's really exhausting you is not what happens around you, but how you respond to it. And when you change that, even gradually, everything begins to reorganize from the inside out. If this made sense to you, try to observe this during your day. Notice where your reactions happen automatically and slowly. Start choosing your responses. If this made sense to you, pay attention to where your reactions happen today. Not to change everything, just to notice. Because awareness is the first step to changing how your mind works. Be prosperous from the inside out.